Um, I think just during the meetings, if you go to a conference, take notes. Read those. What did you do? What did you learn while you were there? And always, I would always like to inform excuse me, I lost myself, but when Kathy was on council, I noticed she always talked about why she voted. I believe Denise does the same thing. She talks about why she voted on a certain topic. I've always appreciated that. I think it's important that when you agree with everyone, and you say why. If you don't agree, and you say why. Inform the membership so they know what you stand for and that you stay true to what you promised them. I think that's very important.
Yeah, Kevin. Either way.
You know, this is the 21st century, and social media has become really the vehicle to keeping people abreast of what's happening. I think that we, as tribal council members, need to be up with that, and whether it be, I know we have a tribal council social media, Facebook, however, I think tribal council needs to actually get on it and use it. And I'm guilty. I was not one of those, but I think that there needs to be that avenue to talk. Now that I haven't been on tribal council, social media to me has become a good thing, a good tool. Social media it can be in a lot of different ways. So I think it's a great tool. I think Twitter, I think that we need to sit down as a group of individuals, 9 council members, and figure out how we can keep the membership involved and keep them wanting more and more and more. The other part is I think that every meeting that we have needs to be recorded and it needs to be taped. They need to be public. People need to, if they choose to come or if they choose to FaceTime in, that they can see what's going on, and questions, if they have a question, it can come immediately. Like I said, it's the 21st century where there should be avenues to do those kind of things. So, I think that would be a great way to communicate. Also, like I said, it's become so restrictive. We should be able to have the information of tribal members throughout the country and be able to call them and ask them and tell them, hey, I'm coming to New York, let's get together, let's talk, tell me what your concerns are. And so it shouldn't be such a big secret. Tribal council needs to be extremely transparent so that so that the people regain the respect and trust in their government and their leaders. That's what needs to happen. They need to, again, be able to trust us, trust what we're doing, trust where we say we're going to be, and that we communicate that with them. So that would be one of the things that I would really like to see happen.
Thank you, Kevin.
To keep members informed about the business of the tribe, one of the things I think that everyone has witnessed that I do is that on any occasion that I travel, I take time during the beginning of each meeting to talk about what I learned, how I contributed, and issues that are important to the tribe, to impart them to the executives as well as council. Some of them require further follow-up with resolutions or letters of support, or some are programmatic, and our general manager is able to act on those issues that are rising. That's one form. The other is I have asked every term that I have run that our sessions that we have, our work sessions, be live streamed. I believe that it's important for the members to hear and to see all of those issues. It's been resisted so far, but that doesn't mean that I will relent and step back from pushing that forward. I think it's very important for members to hear how decisions are made, because that's where the decisions are made. And you'll hear the presentation on what the proposal is or program or whatever the issue is. That's where you learn about that. And you won't just see us sitting up there at our tribal council meeting voting on a consent item when they're grouped together with, among many other issues. So I think that's a very good way. One of the things I know that is very important is the publication, the official written publication that comes from tribal council. It's been somewhat maybe restricted isn't the right word, but we do have our chairman who does issue a statement about matters as he sees them. So I would like to see that expanded in that the tribal council develop those statements and move them forward.
Brenda.
So several people up here have shared, when you go to the conferences, you come back, you share the workshops you attended, the ones you couldn't attend and wished you could. I like the idea of Facebook, letting tribal members know where you are. My daughter who lives in Detroit is always wondering, hey, are there any tribal members coming to Detroit? I'll meet up with them. I have no problem with sharing my schedule. When I worked at the University of Oregon, we had Outlook calendar. Every appointment in your day was on there, and somebody out front could come and look at it. Your days out, where you're at, are you traveling, are you sick? I don't mind sharing that, and I'm actually trying to figure out with one of my whiz kid computer children how to figure out how I could like download monthly my schedule so people can look at it. I could put it on Facebook, it doesn't matter. I think another important thing is to invite people to the table. Coffee hours in the admin building where people can come and sit informally and maybe talk to 2 or 3 of the tribal council members at once. Or some kind of Skype sessions that are informal, or just anything. I'll try anything as long as I have somebody to help me with the computer piece of it.
I think that is important. I think when a member knows that you're traveling, there is a process about making a travel report, and it goes into a notebook. You know, that's, I think somebody discussed last, was it you or somebody about that when a tribal council travels, that there is actually somebody that goes on there about that, to shows that, making sure they attend the meetings or attend the conferences, or, you go to AT&I, whatever, you're going to workshops, I think it's very important exactly because if you're going there and you're going to spend tribal dollars and stuff too, you want to look at that, you're making sure that the membership are getting the bang for their buck. If somebody's traveling, to making sure that you actually went to the thing and reported on it and received the information. So, that way, and then, I love the idea about, electronically, social media, that part of, members are able to, come in and maybe have opportunity to ask questions about when you traveled and you went to, self-governance conference, or, things that are important to the tribe, that we should know that you come back and report. I totally respect Cheryl, because Cheryl does give a very lengthy report, back in LAC, something around Wednesday night council meeting when she has returned from that, and it's very informative, for that she actually does inform the tribe the importance of where she went. And so, those are the things, because it does go back to, are the members feeling, comfortable knowing that you are traveling, representing the tribal membership, that you gathered the information and then you reported it back. It all comes back to the point of, trusting that that's exactly how I'm spending your tribal dollars and getting that worth from that expenditure. So, through that, there are sometimes exactly that, a lot of people cannot travel, to our meetings and stuff too. So that's where I think very importantly that the social media part do come in effect so that they can also be informed of what's going on. They see it live, whatever else, because as we talked about, behaviors and stuff today too, that all members can see. How is your tribal council acting? How are we treating each other? How are we treating our membership and stuff too? And you said if somebody's living in New York and everything else, to know that and going, wow, I didn't realize they acted that way, whatever like that, so, and not just for the local people that actually can come and sit in a meeting, but at least the membership, no matter where they live, have an opportunity to see this is how your tribal council presents themselves, and how they inform the membership.
Thank you.
And I didn't get the town.
Yeah. Well, I'm on to the last question. We're almost done. This will be the last question, and I'm gonna speak to this a little while and give you guys a chance to hear this, because this is very heartfelt and difficult for the PAC membership and me personally as well to discuss this. But part of the reason the PAC started years ago was because our election process in Grand Ronde is, in our opinion, broken. There's not enough opportunity to actually interview or ask candidates questions. We're electing 9 people to run a $500 million sovereign nation, and we should be electing people that are qualified for these roles. Well, this year we have this interesting conundrum where we have 5 very highly qualified, excellent candidates sitting before us today. And I talked a little bit about last week, Kathy, and you too as well, even though you were absent, about this conundrum that we find ourselves in. If we're honest with ourselves, the current majority on tribal council do not necessarily, are very well organized. They are supporting 3 candidates that are not going to come to any of our forums. I understand that and I accept that. I honestly believe there are more supporters of you 5 than the other 3 that are right together collectively. The problem is we will be splitting votes among 5 highly qualified, excellent candidates. And I can honestly say I would vote for any 5 of you. The challenge that we have is we can't vote for 5. We only get to vote for 3. So how do we as a PAC, with the current election rules that are in place, that we don't know who's running until the day of nominations, and then we interview to try to get the best qualified, how do we, what do we do to prevent the situation we find ourselves in today, where we have 5 people that we could all vote for, would love to vote for, but have to select 2? And how do we coordinate so well that we make sure that we don't split our vote so far that all 5 of you end up losing? That is my honest to God fear I have of the current situation. I don't necessarily expect you all to have to speak to this, but I wanted to share how I'm feeling and the conundrum we find ourselves. And I would invite you all to share some ideas. We have some ideas, but right now, I fear that ultimately we're going to be unsuccessful this year in electing the best qualified candidates, because ultimately that's always our goal, is to elect the best qualified. Because this year we have too many qualified candidates that are running. So, let's start with Cheryl, please.
Well, I agree. This is a very difficult situation that we're in. The one time when we possibly could have 3, it's now changed. The diminishment of our collective voters I mean, because they certainly are feeling probably the same way I am and what you've expressed, Brian. That's a real true problem. So as far as solutions, how do you narrow the field to get 3 is really the dilemma. And I know there could be the automatic that 2 of us step down. That would be a solution. And I certainly have thought about that. The other would be to be responsive to what our members say. Would be exactly how that would take place, I'm not sure. I know that a lot of people have belief that social media might be the way of running some kind of preliminary vote to see how all of that shakes out. That's certainly an option. And I guess the other would be to all 5 to stay in and to see how things shake out. Again, I really believe that that's very dangerous. So those are really, my honest thinking about what can be done. Yeah, we are in a serious dilemma.
I think you're directing that question really at Ann and I. That's my feeling,
Okay.
and that's how I feel.
Okay.
Because Ann and I had not decided to run. I think one of the things that really I found different this year is that, for lack of a better word, the other side that you referred to, at least got together with their members or their group, and they picked who they were going to. We didn't do that. The PAC didn't do that. You didn't have any meetings, to my knowledge, of who wants to run the way we used to do it. And then the PAC would, kind of get behind those people. And I think that was our game book. We invented that game book of people getting together, candidates coming, whoever it was that wanted to run, and then the strongest candidate was voted on, and that's who ran, and then we all got behind that. That wasn't happening for me, Brian, and it wasn't happening for a lot of other members out there. We were being told this is who you're going to support, basically. And so my feeling is that we need strong leadership on tribal council. We need people that aren't afraid to get behind a position and stand tall in it and fight for that. So I guess you can call us spoilers or you can call us whatever you want, but I think that you're right. There is 5 very strong candidates here. And I think that it is going to be a dilemma. I don't have any plan to back down. I still believe that I was a very loud voice on the council as a tribal council member, and I always did what was in the best interest of all tribal members, no matter where you live, no matter who you are, no matter whether I liked you or not. It was always about what was best for all of us. And so, yeah, I even have a heart. I have to vote too, and my family has to vote too. And, but I think that 3 candidates are going to be picked, and they're going to be picked from these 5 candidates. I still believe that. My hope is that people do get behind 3 strong candidates from this group, and that we win this election.
Comment?
Go ahead.
I find this a very interesting question. And I find it interesting because everybody has a right to run. Everybody. So to be told that there was an opportunity for 3, what 3? When was that opportunity? Nobody informed me that there was 3 people gonna run. When I went to that meeting, nominations, I had no idea how many people were gonna step up to the plate. So for someone to say there were 3 people and now we've lost it, who has the right to say that? Every tribal member has a right to run. And I believe every tribal member can win. If you're qualified and you run a good race, you can win. I'm after the new voter this year. I believe our tribe has challenges ahead that we're facing that are important. And I believe the tribal membership really needs to think deep in their heart, am I going to vote for my best friend? Or am I going to vote for somebody that's going to take our tribe through this and into the future? That's what's important to me. And I think we can do that.
And I also want to say, any one of these people that get on council here, I'm absolutely thrilled. Any one of these 5 people here, thrilled.
So I'm really sorry that the way I phrased the question seemed to call you all out. I'm not. To my knowledge, there has not been any coordination between the other 3. The thing I'm trying to raise is the PAC has had this same problem for the last few years, where we are, after the fact, after nominations, trying to identify the best qualified, but last year we had 4 or 5 highly qualified as well. In all the years we've had this. My question is not that you all need to drop out. That was not at all. I'm sorry you're taking it that way because I don't think I phrased it that way. What I'm phrasing is, what do we do now to ensure that what I think is a majority of people that align with our common causes are going to split up their vote and we will ultimately lose. That is my honest, pragmatic opinion. And that is, I think it's borne us out the last 5 to 6 years we've been doing this. When we've had more than the 3 qualified candidates that are on a similar platform that the PAC stands for, we lose. And that's just my honest assessment. I'm not calling anyone out. If Brenda and Cheryl were willing to step out today and we had you 3, that would be great. I'm not calling anyone out on this. But it is a conundrum. It is a dilemma that we are facing. Because I honestly don't know who I want to vote for the PAC, and when I have to fill out my ballot, I don't know. I honestly would vote for all 5 of you. So what do I do?
Well, like I said, I hope you vote for the most qualified that you feel can help move our tribe forward. Because we are facing some big challenges. In fact, challenges to the point where it amazes me that anybody's sitting here. Because we're not going to be liked people. I feel that we are in for a very difficult time financially. And some very difficult choices are going to have to be made. There's going to be a whole lot of sleepless nights. The council for the last 20 years have been able to enjoy a very successful income-producing casino. I don't know how long that's going to last. And with the threats we have, I don't believe it's more than a couple years. So these people sitting here, if elected, are definitely going to be facing those challenges. So I'm not personally looking at this as something I'm jumping into because it's going to be a great time to be on tribal council. It's going to be a challenging time. And I feel like I possess qualifications that I can help my tribe through those times. That's the only reason I'm running.
John, yours is.
Thank you, Brian, for that question. I totally respect your thoughts, but I will also totally respect your decision of the 3 that you choose, as this organization chooses here. This organization, I think, has strong values and what it wants from candidates to choose. I will honor that decision for that, no matter who it is. I've known these people for many years also. We grew up together, we've grown close, you know what? We've laughed together, we've cried together. And for me, I'm okay with whatever your decision is. You know, and I'm very willing to support even the people that you choose. It's up to you. I just want you to know also that, you know, I just don't want people also, through some of the sayings, stuff too, that, you know, upon me is that I don't want people to mistake kindness for a weakness also. You know what, but I think through the years, as the people have known me, that I strongly uphold our cultural values. My willingness to listen and to look at other people's reasons maybe, or their opinions of what they have. And so for that reason, you know, also I place myself, you know, also in the hands of this organization, of the PAC, and the people here, and what they believe in, you know, and I will totally honor that decision.
Brenda, do you want to say anything at all on this subject?
Yeah. I want to say a couple of things. I can't make up my mind which way to go. The first thought that come into my mind was that we should be hearing from everyone in here, not just the 5 of us. Some thoughts and opinions from everyone. We're all equal, so I think everybody's opinions is just as valuable. The second thing, going in a completely different direction. I think we're all passionate about the issues that are happening right now. I think what's important to recognize or to investigate is that there are different ways to achieve goals. And I used to talk to my Native students at the University of Oregon about this all the time. They would come together and they would want to protest for something that was important to them. And the loudest voices would come, and then later others would come and they would say, you know, I am passionate about this issue, but I don't want to carry a sign on the front line. How can I participate? So I think what is important to remember is you can be passionate about something, and just because you're not the one out there on the front line doesn't mean you can't stand up for it, doesn't mean you can't work hard for it, and doesn't mean that you can't pull people together to get to that end point.